There are many important stakeholders involved with industrial hemp. Governor Tom Wolf is our first stakeholder and an advocate of legalizing hemp in Pennsylvania. He proved that to be true by signing the Industrial Hemp Research Act No. 92. This act allowed the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture and institutions of higher education to grow hemp, cannabis sativa L, for research purposes only. Penn State is another major stakeholder because Penn State's College of Agricultural Sciences is working with the State Department of Agriculture to develop the policies, procedures, and applications needed to facilitate and guide such research projects. The third stakeholder we interviewed was Erica McBride, who is the Secretary and Treasurer of the Pennsylvania Hemp Industry Council. She advocates for legislation legalizing hemp in different areas of Pennsylvania, industrial hemp, and nonprofit administration. She's also the Executive Director for the National Hemp Association and managed to get legislation approved by Governor Tom Wolf. This provided farmers and other hemp advocates the prestigious opportunity to grow hemp for the first time in 80 years. She's been managing 3 of the first hemp trials in Pennsylvania. Lastly, we spoke with Dr. Greg Roth, who is a professor of agronomy and is also the Associate Department Head of the Department of Plant Science at Penn State. Just this past year, Dr. Roth conducted a pilot program at Penn State for hemp research because he is interested in the benefits hemp can bring to human nutrition. Hemp can also be used for thousands of everyday goods such as clothing, carpeting, paper, biofuels, and construction materials.
Canadian plant breeding programs have developed a number of high-yielding cultivars that are suitable for a wide range of growing conditions. Approximately 1/3 of Canadian hemp seed production is certified organic. Most common IPM strategies in Canada are crop rotations, pre-emergent glyphosate use, or tillage in organic production. Colorado State University is currently doing research on cannabis for pest management, and they have a website to help growers get more information about IPM. Seed that exists in Colorado may be variable and have unknown THC levels. Currently, CDA-approved certified seed does not exist but should be on the market next year. Colorado is working to become the leader in the industrial hemp market in the U.S., but they are dealing with many legal and infrastructure issues. There is a shortage of hemp processing equipment in the state and a lack of harvest machinery. Colorado currently grows 9,000 acres of industrial hemp for CBD products, fiber, and seed.
Hemp has been illegal for the better part of the last century, but in the 90s a wave of re-legalizations occurred. The U.S. legalized research into it in the 2014 Farm Bill. Then Pennsylvania passed the Industrial Hemp Research Act, or Act 92. This bill allowed for the cultivation of up to 5 acres for research purposes, with sales limited to market research. The PA Department of Ag monitors all plots for THC levels. Any crops found over 0.3% on a dry weight basis must be destroyed, and if any crop exceeds 1%, the grower could potentially be criminally prosecuted. Seeds must be imported from outside the country per DEA regulations. The main IPM legal impediment is that no pesticides are registered for cannabis. However, states that have allowed hemp and medical marijuana have allowed growers to use pesticides based on a list compiled by their state Department of Ag. In these cases, pesticides with broad label phrasing like flowering plant, bedding plant, or other crop have been permitted as long as no other part of the label would make it prohibited. Additionally, Section 24C of FIFRA allows states to register pesticides for specialty applications subject to federal approval.
Hemp is made up of 30% bast fiber, the outer thin long strand layer, 60% hurd, the hollow woody core, and 10% chaff, which is a mixture of the hemp pollen, seeds, flower, stalk, and leaf pieces. The hurd fibers go to low-end uses such as animal bedding, hemp concrete, and other building materials. The bast fibers go to better-paying, technically demanding markets such as yarn, fabric, packaging, and paper products.
Giant foxtail weed. Giant foxtail weed has proved to be a significant hemp pest. When it comes to managing this weed, prevention is much less expensive and time-consuming and more effective than controlling it. Some preventative measures to take include Ensure seed is certified weed-free and implement crop rotations with grasses and legumes, as these measures have been proven to be effective. Other actions to take include: mow heavily affected areas before the seeds of the weed are produced. Do not plant crops too sparsely. Provide adequate nutrients to encourage early canopy closure to outcompete the weeds for life. Cercospora disease. One of the diseases that caused some injury for Dr. Roth's trials was the Cercospora cannabis, or olive leaf spot disease, evident by the tiny black dots that begin to appear on the leaves. This disease causes lesions about 1/8 of an inch in diameter that have a brown purplish border. These lesions can kill whole leaves, so if the infection becomes bad enough, dramatic yield loss can be expected.
The main problem in the fiber hemp industry is weeds. Even though various insects feed on the crop, the damage is not so detrimental to yields that control would be required. Additionally, although birds are a main problem in seed production because they eat the seeds and reduce yields, they are a minor issue in fiber production. The main tactics for controlling weeds include strategic timing of seedling and high-density plantings. At the beginning of the season, which differs depending on early or late season crops, tilling will reduce weeds by forcing weed seeds deeper in the soil, delaying their germination. Cover crops are also recommended on the off-season to discourage weed growth. In PA, some recommended cover crops may be cereal rye or winter wheat for their rapid growth and weed suppression, and hairy vetch for nitrogen fixation. Hemp is a fast-growing plant, and if the hemp can outgrow weeds before they reach the critical period, the crop is likely to grow without any main pest problems until harvest. Hemp seeds germinate very rapidly and can reach 30 centimeters in less than 4 weeks if conditions are ideal. Once it reaches that height, it is estimated that the crop will provide about 90% shade, shading out most of the weeds below. Fast-growing cultivars of hemp planted at 200 to 250 plants per square meter will eliminate almost all weed growth. Hemp yields are not strongly affected by high-density plantings and should perform relatively well under tight spacing. For instance, 5 plants per square foot could yield the same as 25 plants per square foot. Also, if at all possible, early seeding is recommended over late seeding for best weed suppression.